talking about crypto. You've got a chart in your deck that shows Bitcoin going to 5 million.
Now that's
slowly.
Yeah.
And then all at once.
Yeah.
By the way, if you got to 5 million, because we have a grid to show it, it's that gold would be doubled in price.
So this is if crypto reaches parity with gold in terms of market cap?
Yes.
Okay, it's not there already?
No, it's only 10% of the value of gold.
Wait, what? How much gold is there in the world?
There is
10?
$21 trillion of gold.
How much crypto? 3?
Bitcoin's 2.
Why would we have a Bitcoin strategic reserve?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Why?
Well, we already have one. We've confiscated Bitcoin.
All right, but why do you think it makes sense?
Why should we buy more?
If Bitcoin becomes the backbone of a new financial system, if the US owns 1 million Bitcoin, they'll be the largest holder of Bitcoin.
As the price of Bitcoin continues to fall, the crypto market sell-off becomes even bigger, heading into the second week of March. Tom Lee has an urgent update for those selling Bitcoin and gives his prediction on what we can expect in the next month. Historically tracking the price, in the year following the Bitcoin halving, and on the heels of multiple all-time highs, financial analyst and Bitcoin bull, Tom Lee, discusses his prediction for all Bitcoin investors, and why he believes $400 trillion is about to pour into Bitcoin. The price for Bitcoin currently sits just under $85,600, down over 11% in the past month. Lee believes Bitcoin is about to make history, and in the coming months, we'll witness one of the biggest price rises so far since the creation of the dominant cryptocurrency. The story will become even bigger in 2025 because of the Bitcoin ETFs, with thousands of institutional investors across the United States now buying Bitcoin. The demand for the leading digital asset has increased exponentially. This has caused a never-before-seen supply-demand imbalance for Bitcoin. And Tom Lee says, everything is about to change. Don't forget, our partners at Jamie Tree Finance have launched a daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part, it's absolutely free, which will cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news that you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
So let's say gold has to go to like $7,000 an ounce. However, I heard something interesting and I didn't realize gold has outperformed the S&P 6 of the last 7 years.
Yeah.
So
quietly too.
Yeah, so gold isn't a bad asset class, but Bitcoin. So I think even if it's not like millennials need to buy gold for gold to go up. You just need the boomers to hold it.
You need central banks around the world to buy it and hold it, which they are.
Why would we have a Bitcoin strategic reserve?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Why?
Well, we already have one. We've confiscated Bitcoin.
All right, but why do you think it makes sense?
Why should we buy more?
If Bitcoin becomes the backbone of a new financial system, which it really is, it's the king of the remittances. It is the immutable blockchain, and people have a lot of reasons that they trust it. In 14 years, no one's broken it, and there's no replacement. Then if the US owns 1 million Bitcoin, they'll be the largest holder of Bitcoin.
Just holding it.
Well,
if it's a strategic reserve, with a strategic petroleum reserve, they use it. When there's like an oil shortage, or there's a problem, or there's a dislocation, they will tap the reserve.
But yeah.
And then when prices calm down, they'll add it back. Michael's question, how does a Bitcoin strategic reserve function?
Okay.
Would there be a shortage of Bitcoin?
And to what end?
These are good questions, but keep this in mind. So oil's a strategic commodity.
Clearly.
Okay. Now, oil only has 7 buyers, really. It's the refiners. Oil, that's produced everywhere, it's really just bought by refiners.
Who then turn it into something useful.
Yeah, to distillates and gasoline.
Okay.
But there's really only 7 buyers. And so if you look at oil, the oil market that's bought for distillate, and then take the total trading volume of oil against that, what do you think the ratio is?
I don't know, tiny, right?
400. For every dollar of oil that's bought at a pump,
I
it's traded
see.
400 times on speculation.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
So you need a strategic petroleum reserve because there's so much price speculation around it that
Okay.
you could be whipsawed if you didn't control some way to manage prices.
Okay. So Bitcoin is the same around
Let's say
it.
that it becomes 10% of people's net worth and banks start to use it to secure information. Because remember, the blockchain, you can just store 1 pixel of a 10 million page document, but the hash will detect if you changed 1 pixel. So that's why you're going to use the Bitcoin to secure information, right? Well, that's really valuable, but then wouldn't the US want to be able to control this blockchain or exert some way to censor it somehow?
Okay.
And, once banks start trading Bitcoin, like Citadel, it will probably be the most profitable product for Goldman and JP
Because of
Morgan.
how volatile it is,
Yeah.
bid-ask spreads are wider.
Correct. And if
Okay.
oil's traded 400 times, Bitcoin might be 1,000 times. It's going to be a hugely traded commodity.
Okay, so this is a productive thing, even though, to my earlier point, we have a budget deficit, we have tons of debt. This is a project that we should also undertake now because it might come in handy at some point in the future.
Yeah, well, the US owns 200,000 Bitcoin,
Right.
as long as it's not, those keys are safe.
Okay.
And so let's say they buy 800,000 more through the Exchange Stability Fund, so another 80 billion.
If they do that, I think the price goes to $1 million too. I just don't know that they're going to do that.
Yeah, but then if Bitcoin gets to 36 million, there's
Yeah.
no national debt.
Okay. In that fantasy, who do you sell the Bitcoin to pay off the debt, though?
It's not, you don't need to sell it because it's almost the same thing as like if Nvidia is 3 trillion, it's not like someone would say, oh, well, you're going to liquidate all 3 trillion, so it's not worth 3 trillion. It's as long as the value is stored at that level
Okay.
and you can still trade
Then
it.
we could say it's an asset that offsets the debt that we have. We don't have to use it to pay down the debt.
Yeah.
We could just say we're backing that
Yeah.
debt with this asset.
I'll guarantee you if Bitcoin got to 36 million, okay, theoretically, the US cost of debt would go to 0.
Okay.
They would have because they have 0 net debt.
Embracing an unyielding enthusiasm for the Bitcoin realm, Tom Lee confidently predicts that explosive growth is looming on the horizon, as BlackRock and many other crypto giants are doing just that. Tom Lee reassures that a long-expected surge awaits. By the end of 2025, there will be 1.1 billion active crypto wallets. The pace of growth is hard to comprehend, and it will be the fastest accumulation of wealth we have ever seen. This is the conclusion of a career's worth of research. And every single chart and piece of research leads to the same conclusion. Liquidity drives everything, and crypto will be the best performing asset of them all.
Something I was thinking about this week, and it's been kind of hard for me to put into writing, is I think this is actually a lot like Brexit. Like
Okay.
it's a Magxit.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like the new administration's trying to recast relationships, which was traditionally like sort of free trade, status. And if I look at Brexit, by the way, the UK stock market did fine. Like
It was one of the biggest buying opportunities of the last 10
Yeah.
years. The summer of 2016.
Yeah, and it didn't upend the economy.
Yeah.
You didn't have an inflation problem or a growth problem. It was sort of like, the UK got through it. And I'm confident that that's where we are 4 or 5 months from now.
Okay.
Trump said this last night on TV because Josh and I were saying, like, what is he trying to accomplish? Last night he said, tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again. And it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much.
Today he said, I'm not looking at the stock market at all.
Totally
So-
not looking at the 200-day moving average.
Yeah. Do you think that he expected this much of a stock market uproar? Or do you think he didn't think that much about it and just said, I don't really care about that?
I think that they thought one of the collateral hits to this would be the stock market. Because if they were like war gaming this and they said, okay, we're going to put these threats on and we want our other countries to take it seriously, they would want the stock market to decline.
Yeah.
Because if the Dow and the S&P were rallying, they'd be like, no one's taking it seriously. So I think they
Okay.
need the market to do this, but they don't want to cause a stock market induced recession, or a stall speed in the economy. And so I think that these indicators like yields falling, probably they wanted, but then they don't really want consumer confidence to fall. They don't want negative jobs report, because all of a sudden this risks a recession. And recession dynamic is really dangerous. I mean, I think there's no inflation interpretation in the stock market. It's interpreting this as it's really going to hit growth.
Tom Lee challenges the conventional economic metrics, asserting that these metrics are often manipulated to paint a specific narrative, like labor statistics and inflation figures. The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Lee asserts this journey is just the beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment, with a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs. Lee highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem, selectively measured to create desired effects rather than reflecting the true state of the economy. In this context, Bitcoin emerges as an alternative, detached from the manipulations of the conventional economic sphere. Lee also highlights that established corporations like Apple, Amazon, and Google will use their established relationships acquired over decades to swiftly acquire substantial amounts of Bitcoin through a spot ETF, bypassing the cumbersome processes involved in procuring the actual commodity. This disparity underscores the transformative power of cryptocurrencies in traditional financial institutions. Michael Saylor underscores the importance of embracing digital currencies as the economic landscape is changing rapidly, and urges investors to leverage Bitcoin's potential to secure a more prosperous financial future. What do you think about the latest interview with Tom Lee? And how do you think Bitcoin's trajectory in the coming months will impact the crypto market and the world of investing?